Hey everyone, welcome to another iRacing video. In this one, we're going to break down the February 2025 iRacing development update, what's expected to come in Season 2 and beyond. I'll walk you through the new cars, tracks, sim features, and much more. Let's dive into it. So to kick off the blog, the developers sent a big thank you to the community for the record participation in the Daytona 24 event with an astonishing 24,000 entries, they said, making it the biggest single event in sim racing history. And they also pointed out, make sure not to forget, the Bathurst 12 hour is this weekend, but however, by the time this video comes out, the event is probably almost over, if not already for you. So do let me know down in the comments if you did participate, how you did. And then that's going to be followed by the Sebring 12 hour, which is going to be on the weekend of the 21st through the 23rd in March. And just a quick note on a change that wasn't well known prior to folks trying to solo run Bathurst earlier today, but iRacing is no longer letting in single member teams, quote unquote, and you must have at least 2 drivers assigned prior to being allowed to join the race server. So it's just a heads up to those out there that like to run these shorter, big enduro events solo for fun. Okay, and moving on to the fun stuff here now. One of the biggest new items that will be coming is the ARCA Menard series is getting a full refresh, with the original ARCA car from 2009 finally being replaced by multiple fully licensed ground-up builds featuring modern artwork and physics. And for those who already own the old model, iRacing is offering credits based on your duration of ownership over the past year. So they do recommend that, hey, if you want to try it out, now's a good time to do it because you're going to get credited probably for the full amount if you buy it this season. And you can purchase the new one next season using those credits. And then they also mentioned that the Legends Ford 34C is also receiving an update finally that brings enhanced art and improved driving feel to that car as well. Quickly moving on, we go to tire and hybrid updates, and this is mostly for GTP and LMP2s here. So after last season's tire issues, where high-speed cornering suffered too much grip, making the cars a little too easy to drive, iRacing has taken a 2-phase approach coming into Season 2. So Phase 1 is going to be the comprehensive tire update. It's going to be built using new real-world data as well as refined testing, and it will indeed launch in Season 2. Meanwhile, the hybrid system, which has also been a big complaint of many, will receive a complete overhaul in Phase 2, and that's going to be scheduled for Season 3. And they made sure to note in the blog that you need to get these tires warmed up and to be very careful on your out laps and driving out of the pits, etc. And they warned people to, even after this season, make sure you get in the car and do some practicing before you get into live races at the start of Season 2. Just a heads up to you folks out there. And we keep on moving here, folks. We're going to try to make this one a short one. So next up, we have track and art upgrades. And there's going to be a new road course coming. And it's going to be the Portland International Raceway. And that is a nearly 2-mile road course with multiple configurations. And that, of course, if you live in the States and you watch a lot of IndyCar and NASCAR, they do race there almost every year. So I'm pretty excited for this one to be coming in. And in addition to that, iRacing is updating the look of many classic tracks. And they're doing this because they've processed and streamlined their back end on this to do these changes at scale now. So there's going to be multiple tracks coming every season with these refreshes. So this upcoming season in particular, they're going to be focusing on ovals. Going to be updating Bristol, Darlington, Dover, Homestead, Kansas, Vegas, and Iowa. And most of these changes will be free to existing owners of these tracks. And third on the list here, they're going to be expanding the 3D curb support. And as you can see, the tracks there, the ones I'm interested most there are VIR and Hockenheim. But they also mentioned that Barcelona and Road America are on the bubble for Season 2. So they may or may not be coming Season 2. If not, they'll be ready for Season 3. And we keep moving, folks. Okay, so on the sim features front, there are several exciting additions coming here. We got the debris refresh Phase 2, which is going to improve dynamic modeling and even add local debris cautions. And they made sure to note that it's going to be informative only for these local debris cautions, but they made an interesting note that future road course caution support could come out of this. So that's something they're going to be kind of monitoring how this system works and building upon it possibly to have future course cautions being built in. Now it's unclear what that will entail. Will that be full course cautions? Could that potentially lead to the enforcement of local yellow flags in the form of penalties? Second on the list here, they're continuing to tackle networking issues, and they're going to be doing it this time with a new connection flag system they're going to be implementing, which will pull lagging racers back to the pits until their connections improve. So that seems like a really big change and be interesting to see how that plays out. And finally, they're implementing an adaptive AI for single play use that will allow you to change the difficulty levels of the AI you go against. And particularly, they kind of described it as you select the difficulty using descriptive terms now instead of using the sliding bar in percentages it currently has. So you'll be able to choose if you want to go against racers that are easy, medium, hard, or extreme. But it's going to be very adaptive relative to your driving, which is very interesting. So someone's medium could be someone's extreme, or someone's hard could be someone's easy, if that makes sense. Next up, we have some visual and UI updates. And first of all, in the visual category, we're looking at an all new lighting model incoming. It's going to transform the rendered world in the light that is imparted onto scenery and race cars. Now, this is being developed in parallel with a new graphics engine and a new sky model as well. But because it's kind of its separate own thing, they're able to release it now and don't have to wait until everything, all the other parts are done. And also on this one, they talk about the new Sim UI, which is going to be in progress, unfortunately. It was slated to be released in Season 2, but they said it wasn't quite ready for prime time yet. So they're going to let it bake a little bit longer, and possibly, if we're lucky, maybe later this year, we'll get that. And finally, they go into a bunch of future tech and projects that are coming. Under future tech, we have the next gen graphics engine, which I just kind of mentioned, along with physics enhancements, which I talked about on a previous blog. And they're going to be expanding audio features as well. In particular, they made a note of audio reflections. So the sound bouncing off like the interior of the car and objects outside of the car. So that's a really cool update. That's something that I really enjoy in other racing sims like ACC. Like when you drive down a section of the road where there's grandstands on either side of you, you hear the echo of the car engine coming in back at you. You can hear that outside noise of that car. So that's a cool feature that you see in other sims, and looks like it's finally going to be coming to iRacing. And they also noted a initiative to have AI powered coaching systems developed in collaboration with Microsoft research teams, which is a pretty cool little feature, which will allow new players and old players alike to receive in-game coaching. And they also made a point to mention that they have staffed a full anti-cheat and anti-tamper team, which is being comprised of industry leaders. Of course, coming off the heels of earlier in the summer being the victims of some DDoS attacks, which I covered in another video. So it's good to see that iRacing is taking that very, very seriously and having dedicated teams to those means. And lastly, they conclude with some upcoming car and track scans. And they lead it off with the Gen 4 models are going to be incoming. They were almost ready for Season 2 actually, but they are not quite ready. So they'll be coming probably in Season 3. They also mentioned that pre-version 10 tire model, aero modeling updates, and associated advancements are going to be coming to the IndyCar and NASCAR Cup cars in the future. They made note of a new Ferrari incoming. And of course, I took to Reddit to kind of see what the vibe was from the community of what potential Ferrari could be. And a lot of people are speculating it could be the Ferrari 296 Challenge, which of course would probably replace the Ferrari GT3 in the D-Series Ferrari GT3 fixed race. Of course, makes sense that the Ferrari Challenge would be used in the Ferrari Challenge. So most likely what's going to be coming, folks. And last of all, they mentioned a few future courses that are going to be coming, road courses that is, which will be Adelaide, which is a course in Australia. And it was actually the course used for F1 racing prior to them in the mid 90s, moving the race to Melbourne. And with F1 in mind, we have the Miami International Autodrome coming. That's that F1 race in Miami. And then the Autodrome Hermanos Rodriguez in Mexico City is going to be coming. Well, that's going to conclude this one, folks. If you enjoyed this breakdown of the February 2025 update, please make sure you smash that like button and subscribe for more iRacing news. And of course, from here until Season 2 releases, there's always more news tidbits that come out that they didn't mention in the blog of new cars and tracks that could potentially be coming. So make sure you stay tuned and make sure you leave a comment down below on what features are you most excited about from this dev blog. And you can go check out one of my other most recent videos up over here in the left-hand corner. And of course, until then, folks, have a great rest of your week and safe racing.